Welcome everyone. You are watching the LogTag LT5GEO launch webinar. Here we're going to learn about LogTag's greatest new product, the LT5GEO Cellular Data Logger. I'm excited to teach you guys all about it, so let's get on to it. Before we begin, my name is Melanie Arkinson. I'm the marketing coordinator here at LogTag New Zealand. If you're not already subscribed to our mailing list, then the QR code link to subscribe is on screen for you to scan. Or if you have any questions about this data logger, you can contact the sales and product team at sales@logtag.com. Or if you're not already working with one of our many worldwide distributors, then you can also contact sales@logtag.com, and one of our friendly sales team will connect you with a local agent who can assist you. So the problem that we're looking to solve with the LT5GEO logger is that companies typically use a data logger to remain compliant within their given industry and to help them identify when a shipment may be spoiled. The biggest issue is that you're not getting reliable and accurate information about the problem or being able to identify where in the process the spoilage took place. All of this information is only provided to you at the end of the trip when the shipped product has already been spoiled and now needs to be discarded. You are completely reliant on the receiver to recover the logger and upload the data. If a receiver is unable to locate the data logger for you, there isn't much that we can do about it, unfortunately. But if you start using the LogTag LT5GEO logger, you no longer are reliant on that receiver to retrieve the logger and recover the data for you. As the logger is frequently uploading to LogTag Online, you already have access to all of that data that the LT5GEO has been uploading throughout the trip. So even if the receiver can't locate that logger for you, you've already got the data online and you can remain compliant. This is significantly beneficial for insurance claims as well, to help you identify at what stage in the journey the spoilage occurred so that the logistics journey can be improved for future shipments and you know which party it was that caused the spoilage. You'll also gain visibility of not only the location of your shipment through LogTag Online and the LogTag mobile app, but also gain conditional shipment information while it is still in transit. This will give you peace of mind so that you're going to receive an instant alert should your shipment breach any of your set parameters using the LT5GEO's 5 different sensors, and you can take action to protect your reputation. This ties in well with LogTag's core philosophy of protecting people, products, and brands. Now, who will use the LT5GEO and who's going to benefit most from it? I've created a list of industry segments that were kept in mind when the LT5GEO was being created. These are all related to logistics companies, however, it can still be used for stationary location monitoring as well if for some reason a logger like the U-Tread30 Wi-Fi is no longer suitable for your particular needs. If you're already using a LogTag data logger, such as one of the 5 on the screen here, then this is a fantastic product for you to add to your current practices and protect your most important shipments. Some of the sensors for the LT5GEO do include humidity and temperature range that we do see on screen at the moment. So for humidity, it's 0% relative humidity to 100%, and the temperature range, if you're using degrees Celsius, it's -30 to +70, or if you use Fahrenheit, it's -22 degrees Fahrenheit to 158. So of course those are important depending on what you require your logger for. And here we are, the LT5GEO. Here is a beautiful image of this new data logger. The whole idea behind it is to gain product visibility from the first to the last mile and everything in between. Using LogTag Online, the customer is going to be able to see the conditions of the 5 different sensors throughout the trip. So we've got location, humidity, shock, light, and temperature. And then our top 4 features are instant alerts, GPS location, and auto flight mode, as well as condition visibility. And we'll get into those details a little bit later. This logger is available in both single-use and multi-use options, and then both of those options do also have a rechargeable battery. Now looking into the first 2 sensors, location and humidity. So location means that your customers are able to keep up to date with the location of the shipment without relying on the logistics carrier. The GPS location means that you're always going to be able to see through LogTag online where that shipment is. And based on your requirements, you'll be able to then geofence it so you know as soon as it arrives. Humidity is also dependent on which product that you are shipping, whether this is important to you or not, but it is a great feature to be able to add in for those who do need it. So it's going to make sure that all of your products arrive within the humidity range that you require and make sure they are in tip-top condition when they arrive at location. Next sensors we have shock and light. So while they're not as widely used, shock and light sensors can provide valuable information about the shipment's condition and the current logistics journey. So the shock sensors can tell you not only if your shipment has experienced forces that could damage your goods, but combined with GPS data, it can tell you where it happened. This will help you decide if a particular carrier is meeting their handling obligations and if it is safe to use to ensure that your products arrive in their ideal condition. If they aren't meeting those obligations, then you also have the data to identify the responsible party. Next, looking at the light sensor, they are beneficial to ensure that your products haven't been tampered with. Rather than shipping every item in a tamper-proof package, one data logger with a light sensor is all you need to confirm that your package has not been opened and therefore has not been tampered with. Combine these two sensors together. If they are still within the acceptable thresholds, it is safe to say that the package has not been damaged and is not compromised. And then next, another really important sensor is temperature. So of course we've already mentioned, but we'll say again that the temperature range is -30 degrees Celsius to +70 degrees Celsius, or if you're looking at Fahrenheit, -22 to +158 degrees Fahrenheit. I've got all of the ranges of temperature accuracy on the screen there for you as well, but I do also need to note the transmission range. So while these temperatures on screen that the logger can record, I have to mention about the range because they are different to the transmission range. To be able to optimize the battery use as transmitting data outside of the ranges on screen, they're going to significantly deplete the battery. So as long as it's within -20 degrees Celsius to +50 degrees Celsius, or again if you're using Fahrenheit, -4 degrees Fahrenheit to +122 degrees Fahrenheit, then the logger is going to remain transmitting data. Anything outside of those temperature ranges, then it is going to go into saving mode so that it can hold onto that battery and make sure that it's going to last the entire trip. Now into the first top features, we've got instant alert and GPS location. So the LT5GEO is a global unit with cellular connectivity in over 120 countries, and that is really important for instant alerts. So customers will receive instant alerts when there are deviations from the set parameters. They can receive these either by a phone call, email, SMS, or even WhatsApp messages, whatever the customer prefers. This is to make sure that they can be contacted by their preferred method of contact, and they know that they're going to be kept up to date if anything happens within their shipment. Plus, you will also receive SMS or email notifications as soon as the goods arrive within their destination location. So then you know as soon as it's arrived and it's ready to have that shipment completed. You can also get GPS location data from the LT5GEO, as we've already mentioned, but this is really important because it gives you a visibility of the location of your shipment. It's got 5G and 4G cellular network technology, and it's also got a 2G fallback to make sure that it's always going to be within range if there is a cell tower nearby, and able to upload that information that it's been recording to LogTag online. This ensures its reliability. Top two features are auto flight mode and condition visibility. So auto flight mode means that even though you've still got those cellular connections, which of course planes that usually don't like, the logger is still able to go on flights because of auto flight mode. So auto flight mode recognizes when the logger is on a flight that is taking off. When it recognizes that, it's going to turn off the cellular networks. So just like with flight mode on your phone, and you're going to be able to still get all of the information that it is logging while it is on that flight Once it lands, it's then going to recognize the plane has landed, turn off auto flight mode, and it's going to start going to start uploading to LogTag Online again. So it will be logging throughout that journey and collecting all of that valuable data for you. So it is already approved by several airlines, as airline approvals are made by each individual airline. This is on a case-by-case basis. Thankfully, we do have a particular battery type, non-lithium. That means that getting more approvals is easy and not hard for you guys to be able to do if your particular airline has not already been approved. The LT5GEO is considered not dangerous good, so this also helps making applications for more approvals nice and simple. Next, we do have condition visibility. So if something goes wrong, then the user gets the information to be able to assess what is unsafe for their products within their current logistics journey, and you can then amend it to ensure that more of your products aren't going to be damaged getting to the destination. This essentially uses all of the 5 different sensors that's within the LT5GEO to be able to see that whether your products are getting to their destination safely, or if they're not, where in the journey that is happening. Next, we need to look over the software needed for the LT5GEO, which is LogTag Online, or LTO for short. Within LogTag Online, there are a range of fantastic features that will grant you the visibility and ease of use that the LT5GEO can deliver. Now, first, if you are shipping goods, then you need to make sure that you have a transit user account. To check if you have a transit user account, first place you can check is on the bottom left corner there, whether you have shipments or dashboard in that left corner. Here we can see that I have a transit user account, so that shipments tab is visible. If you're still in doubt, or you know you need to change your account type, the team owner will need to go to the top right where it says hello and their name. Here it is showing hello LogTag. Then they need to go to manage team. They will see this pop up. Make sure they're in the team tab, and then direct to team profile. Here it confirms that we are a transit user. If it says VFC user or general user, then you simply click on the drop down box to select transit user, and then click save changes, which will have turned green after you make changes. One of the many benefits of LogTag Online is you can receive all of your data and close the shipment with no need to locate the logger. Once you've received all of the data from the LT5GEO, simply select the shipment from the shipment dashboard to see the ship info pop up that you can see on screen now. When you are sure that you have all of the data that you require, simply click on Complete Shipment. It is just that easy. No more relying on the receiver to locate and download all of that required data for you. Plus, there's no need to worry if the admin personnel in charge of closing these shipments is unable to for whatever reason. If you are set up with geofencing when you configured the logger, you will receive an alert to tell you that your shipment has arrived at its destination. Since the logger has already recognized that it has now arrived at that shipment destination, if it does not close that shipment within the first 2 weeks, then it's going to automatically do that for you while it's at that destination location. Speaking of setting up your logger, that is simple too. Once you're ready to create your shipment, go to the shipment wizard on the top left to start. You will be prompted to select your shipment profile or create a new one. Next, the pop-up will allow us to name the shipment and then define the origin and destination of this shipment. Here we can select from a list of locations we have already used in the past, or like in this example, we are creating a new one. Here we give it a name, define the boundaries of that location. The boundary is particularly important for the destination location because this orange circle here is where the logger will recognize whether it has arrived or not. Next, you will need to confirm the estimated journey length in days, and that will be showing down the bottom there the frequency that the LT5GEO is going to attempt to update the data to LogTag Online to ensure that its battery is going to last that whole trip. Here we are inputting the serial number. Be sure to use the serial number on the front of the logger and not the IMEI number. Once we have added the serial number, then we can assign a device profile or create a new one. Here we can choose a name for this device profile and see all the parameter options available to use when using an LT5GEO logger. Once we input our required parameters, then we are done creating this shipment. And once all of these locations and device profiles have been made for that first time, They will be saved to speed up this process to make it faster for future shipments. Once you are done, you simply click Create Shipment, and you're all done. That shipment is ready to go. If you need help setting up your logger any further than that, we do have a tutorial on our YouTube channel that can help you. Next, I've got some examples of what LTO looks like when you're using the LT5GEO and just what you can see when you're using this logger. If you've received an alert for some reason there's a parameter breach, then you can have a quick look at the notification section of this page. Click here and we will be presented with this pop-up. Now the wording on this is going to depend on which particular parameter has been breached. In this example, we can see that it is a temperature excursion. Next we click on any other type and we will be given this information. Here we are saying that it is a temperature excursion in this case, so the alarm type, which shipment the alarm relates to, and which device has triggered the alarm. We can then take action to protect this shipment. This notification will remain in the Notifications tab until we click Acknowledge right here. If we want to learn more about this excursion, then we can exit this pop-up and select the relevant shipment from the shipment page. Once I've clicked on the right shipment, we will be presented with the shipment information screen that we can see here. Now, one of the other differences with the LT5GEO that we can see within the screen is that we can see the estimated days remaining for the battery use. In the screen, we can also see that there is an alert to say that there is a temperature excursion. In this case, in terms of the battery as well, we can see here that we've got 8 more days worth of battery life remaining for this particular logger. From here, we can navigate the tab that we want to see to learn more about this notification. So let's start with the chart tab, which is right up here on the left. Here we can see both humidity and temperature readings, as those are two of the different sensors included with this logger. Here, temperature is shown in green, but if you were ever unsure, you can just hover over the lines and you will see this box show up on the top right corner. Now that's looking pretty tiny from here, so let's make it a bit bigger for this example. Here you can see that the green line up top is showing a degrees Celsius reading and the blue line at the bottom is showing a relative humidity reading. So now we can easily see which is which if we're ever unsure. Here we can also see that the temperature threshold is showing out of these two options. We can change it to humidity if we would like, but considering this example we're showing a temperature excursion, we'll stick with temperature for right now. Now we can see that this inspection point right here, notified in the little red dot being an inspection point, that is where it has gone into that red section, which is above our threshold. Since when we receive an alert as soon as it is received within LogTag Online, we will have seen this a lot earlier than in this particular example, but we can see that after the inspection, the temperature did quickly go back down within range. So in this example, thankfully, we didn't need to do anything. Underneath it, we can see that there are a light and shock sensor readings. Light is the yellow line and shock is the pink line. And we can use that same trick with the temperature and humidity if we ever need to recall which one is which. Next tab that we can see is the report tab. So here we can see an overall report. If required, there is up in the top left the ability to see every measurement point that was used to build this report. And then lastly is an exclusive feature for the LT5GEO and other geolocation recording data loggers is the map because of the GPS sensor. So now we can see the data logger's current location as well as where any excursions take place. So I can click on that little red marker that's just over there and you will be given this pop-up. Now please do note that again this is made bigger to be able to see it within these slides, but you will still be able to see all of the readings taken at the time of the alert and including which alarm has been triggered, so we can again see that there is a temperature alarm under event. This can help us identify who is responsible for this excursion, as we can see where in the shipment journey that this excursion took place. Next, we can see all the different certifications that are already aligned with this logger. A new one for us is the IATA for the LT5GEO, of course, being able to go on flights. But other than that, those are the main certifications that are aligned with this logger. Next here I have a comparison of our other logistics loggers, so we can have a look at how the LT5GEO stacks up with other loggers from the LogTag range. So let's just make that a bit bigger so we can read all of those beautiful details. So highlighting here the different features that are exclusive for the LT5GEO out of these loggers that we see on screen. These being automatic remote reporting, so of course it's got that cellular connection to be able to add all of the information to LogTag online. So you can see that automatically you don't have to tell it to upload, which you can do manually if required. Of course, it's got that cellular network, so 4G, 5G with 2G fallback to make sure that it is able to connect to a wide range of cell towers so that it can connect no matter where in the world that it is, as long as it has that cellular connection. It also has GPS location, humidity, and shock sensors, which are exclusive to the LT5GEO within this range. And of course, we've talked about that condition visibility, so that makes sure that you're able to see the condition of your shipment while it is still in transit, which is unique out of these 4 loggers. The next difference is that the LT5GEO has 3 months of battery life, and this actually isn't a concern because it does come with a USB-C chargeable battery. So if you just connect it to a wall outlet using USB-C charger, then you're able to keep recharging those multi-use loggers and then send it out again. Now for some common questions about the LT5GEO. First one being, how long will the 5G multi-trip logger last? So the LT5GEO multi-trip logger comes with a rechargeable battery and it comes with a 12-month data plan. So assuming you've got the multi-trip, of course, you can just use it continuously throughout that period. However, if you do need to extend it past those 12 months, then another subscription will need to be purchased. Once all of the data memory has been used, can it be reset to 0 and begin again? So actually, one of the main advantages of the LT5GEO is being able to connect to LogTag online. So while it has 16,032 available onboard recordings, it actually has more when you look at LogTag online. So it's only really going to need that number of recordings for its longest sea freight journey outside of cell coverage. Because as soon as it is within cell coverage again, it's got access to LogTag Online, which has more than 1 million recordings available to you. So if we are assuming that the logger is logging at 10-minute intervals, it has enough memory space for 111 days. So that's more than the longest journey that I am aware of. With the multi-trip logger, once the trip is completed, can the receiver then configure it for a new trip? So if it is set up correctly within LogTag Online, it can be set up that the receiver can hit the start and check button to be able to stop and start the logger. However, LogTag Online access is actually required to be able to complete the shipment within LogTag Online. You will also need LogTag Online to be able to start a new shipment. So these 2 features are only able to be done in LogTag Online. Next question is, should each receiver or destination point have access to LogTag Online? And it really depends on each use case. You do have the ability to give receivers access to view and manage shipments, but we do recommend that the admin person keep manage shipment creation and closure to themselves to keep that bit of control, especially because you need to make sure that the LogTag LT5GEO has uploaded all of its data before you close your shipments. Now we've got a little example here of what the LED status indicators mean on the LT5GEO. These first 2 here, you don't need to do anything. Once you've started the logger, one of these 2 will be showing. So first one is 1 blink for every 4 seconds. We've got the green one going at the moment, and this just means that the logger is logging normally. If it's going red, however, still every 4 seconds, it is still logging normally, but you do have an environmental parameter excursion, so there's some sort of excursion outside of your parameters. If we have it blinking once every 8 seconds, so this can be again either green or red, it just means that logging has stopped. So someone's told the logger to stop. And green, of course, means it is okay, and then red is outside of those parameters. If we've got the solid green going for 3 seconds, and that's if you press the start check button for 1 or more seconds, all of these other ones as well, then the battery is okay and there's no known connection issues. If it's solid red for 3 seconds, however, this means that the battery is low, but again, there's no known connection issues. It's still uploading to LogTag Online as normal. However, if you have flashing green, the battery is okay, but it's had a connection issue. So that means that it hasn't been able to upload to LogTag Online. Maybe you're out of cell service and it's going to try again to be able to connect to LogTag Online. If you've got this flashing red, then similar thing, connection issue, but the battery is also low. So the battery is going to be indicated at low if it is at 20% or lower. Next, if you've got it solid red, then this means you've connected to a power source and the logger is currently charging. If you've got solid green, it's still connected to that power source, then your charging has completed. Next question is, how should the battery status be checked and maintained? So for multi-use data loggers, charge the battery after every trip is our main recommendation. This makes sure that it's got enough battery to make sure it lasts the entire trip. You can check the status of the battery by checking the status button for 1 second, as we've already gone through in the different indicators slide. If you are using a single or multi-use data logger that has been stored for an extended period of time, then we also really recommend charging both of these loggers. Single-use loggers do have a rechargeable battery. This is because of the type of battery we've used to make sure it is able to be safe for air travel. It does mean that if it is stored for a long period of time, it can discharge some of that battery. So you should still really charge your single-use loggers if it has been stored for a long period of time. What should be done if data is missing after closing a shipment on LogTag Online? So you really should be closing a shipment only after you have retrieved all of the data and verify that it is within LogTag Online. Because once you've closed the shipment, it's not going to be able to attribute the data to that shipment. Now, if you are using a logger that you know has arrived, but you really need that data and you need to be able to close that shipment before the transmission cycle comes up next, then you can actually force the LT5GEO to connect early by pressing that Start Connect button again. If you see a green light, this means that it has successfully connected to LogTag Online and it is uploading that data. And you will be able to see the data in LogTag Online shortly. If there is no light, meaning that the data is out of battery, you can plug in the unit into a laptop or PC using a standard USB-C charging cable and retrieve all of the data that way. How does the logger's duration affect its cellular transmission interval? Now, like we saw in our previous example, when we are setting up the logger, how many days we're expecting the logger journey to last, that's when LogTag Online is going to calculate how long the battery is likely to last and how many transmissions it can do within that time. So, for example, if you've got a 1 to 3 day trip, then the data logger is going to be able to send up every hour. Whereas if it's between 57 and 90 days, then the transmission is going to be every 24 hours. This is to make sure that the battery is going to last that entire trip. The only exception to this is with alarms and alerts. So when an alarm or alert has been triggered, that's going to force the LT5GEO to transmit its data so you are notified as soon as the alert has been triggered. Transmission time calculations do also allow for delays, so if there is a slight delay in your shipment, then your logger should be able to have enough battery for the rest of that trip. If you are experiencing delays, you are able to see within LogTag Online how much battery is estimated to be remaining within that logger. If, however, there is a seriously long delay and the battery level starts running low, while it is still in transit, the unit is actually going to disable the cellular modem. This prioritizes environmental monitoring to make sure that you get all the data that you require. Once the shipment has arrived, you can plug in that unit to a standard USB-C charger, at which point the modem is going to kick back in as it's now got another power source and transmit all of that remaining data. However, if this fails, then you can also retrieve the data over that USB-C connection directly connected into your PC. What happens if the LT5GEO can't send data due to no cellular coverage? So it's going to switch to power saving mode to make sure that it's got enough battery to be able to get all of those environmental recordings for you. It's going to try to connect every 24 hours because it's going to try to conserve that battery to make sure, again, that it's going to last the entire time. The exception to this is when an alert or an alarm has been triggered. So as soon as one of those have been triggered, it's then going to try to make that transmission as soon as possible so that once it's got that cellular data coverage, then you are going to be alerted about that environmental excursion. There is also a USB recovery tool if logging data can't be sent. You can plug the unit into a standard USB-C charger, at which point the modem is going to turn back on and start transmitting that data. Or you can connect it to a laptop and retrieve the data that way. Is there an expiry date for the SIM card and battery? So the SIM card does not expire before you start using it. The battery may need to be charged, as we previously mentioned, if the logger has been stored for an extended period of time, which of course we've already recommended is the same case for the single-use loggers. Next, what are the costs for phone call, SMS, WhatsApp, and email notifications? Users will need to purchase notification units, which are sold in bundles of 500. The pricing of these vary depending on which country you're in and can be purchased through your distributor. The cost of how many units per notification also varies. In the US, an SMS notification is going to cost 1 unit, while a WhatsApp notification will cost 2. Email notifications are provided at no additional cost. How do you get more than 2 users on an account? Users need a current subscription to have more than 2 users per team. There is also an account setup fee, which will vary depending on which country you are in. And would other strong G-forces such as a truck executing an emergency stop also trigger auto flight mode? So thankfully the answer to that is no. Auto flight mode uses multiple sensors to make sure that only a plane taking off is going to trigger it, and that a plane coming into land is what's going to make it start transmitting again. And thank you everyone for listening. That's the end of our webinar. I hope you guys all learned something valuable and are excited to give the LT5GEO a go. If you've got any questions about this webinar, you can contact marketing@logtagrecorders.com. If you have any product queries, then you can go to sales@logtag.com. And I hope you found this valuable, and I'll see you next time.